Now, I refer to her as Darth Hideous. That's what I call her, Alan. You may not know this. I've been doing some podcasts where I use the name Darth Hideous.
Oh, yeah, I've checked them out.
Yeah, that's my code name for Deborrah Cooper. And and what I've done, now see, here's the thing. I've noticed that a lot of dating coaches for women, they seem to spend a lot of time talking about men they don't want instead of talking about ways they can get the men that they do want. You ever notice that, Alan? Why is that?
Well, I told you this once before on your show. And you probably gonna get mad at me because I know you like to throw a lot of venom her way, but I'm gonna at least partially defend Deborah Cooper because see, we go way back.
Yeah.
And Deborah Cooper, man, I don't want to necessarily call her just flat out disingenuous with her fan base, but Deborah, based on the conversation I used to have with her, I haven't had a conversation with her. It's been years since I've had my last conversation with her. But back around like 2008, 2009, we were actually cool. We used to talk all the time.
Right.
And she used to be like this kind of just regular, run-of-the-mill female dating advisor. And she was getting like an average amount of traffic to her site. And then she wrote this one piece where she kind of basically dogged out black men. And she said, I don't remember the exact numbers, but the traffic to her site like multiplied times like 50.
Damn.
Like it went from like 1,000 to like 50,000. And she was telling me about it. She said, Alan, I'm having something amazing that's happening, but it's kind of making me feel bad. I said, what's that? She said, and she told me, she said, it's really not in my core to want to just slam black men. But she said, I got to be honest, business-wise, me dogging you brothers out is just really increased my traffic, my listenership. She said, like, women are coming out the woodworks now, becoming fans of me. And she even went on to say, she said, actually, I feel like a lot of them are lesbians. They're just like, just literally hate men. And so she was almost like asking me for advice, like, I don't know what to do. She's basically like, I don't really want to dog out brothers on a regular basis, but damn, if it's going to make me more money, then I'm willing to do it.
So this is all just an act.
So, yeah, that's my basic point. And I feel like I mentioned this once before, but if I didn't, I mentioned that, yeah. I think it's a lot of what she does is all an act to keep her traffic. It's like she just kind of jumped into that role, and yeah, man, I don't really think she has, truthfully, the hatred towards brothers that she pretends to be. Because again, man, I knew her when she wasn't like that, man. But I think she got so much play from it, such a increase in her fan base that she said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna roll with it."
Well, Oprah Winfrey made her billions off bashing men as well. So Oprah Winfrey basically gave everyone the blueprint of how to do this. And I guess
Alice Walker did it with the color purple.
Alice Walker, yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of women, they just had to experience this influx of subscriptions from. Influx of subscriptions to see that bashing black men actually does pay off.
I'm saying it's just like I told you a few episodes ago when I called your show. I said I had an uncle told me, I was talking about my book, Mo 1. He said, why you write that book? I said, because I think it helped out a lot of men. He said, you must not want to make any money. He said, if you really wanted to make money, nephew, you need to come out with a book called All Niggas Ain't Shit. He said, you know how many black women would buy that book? If you just do a book signing, here's Alan Roger Crane with his book, All Niggas Ain't Shit. He said, right now I'll be talking to you on your yacht. You be on your yacht and somewhere in the Caribbean. You be like, yeah, I just deposited another $500,000 in my account.
What's going on, my IBMOR brothers? The clip that you just heard was by Alan Roger Curry talking about Deborah Cooper, how she is different from her rhetoric. which I'm actually not surprised that she is different from her rhetoric. Because I've been listening to Deborrah Cooper for, I would say, good grief, it's got to be at least 10 years. And there's no way any woman, regardless of whether she hates black men or she doesn't hate black men, could be so negative for 10 years. Not that negative, unless it's an act. So that's why I am naming this video False Prophets, because that's what they are. And that's what the majority of the so-called dating coaches or the especially the black female dating coaches, the majority of them are in the business of basically being negative toward black men. Their main product, as Obsidian says, is the nigga ain't shit product. Because why? Because it makes them feel better about themselves. And that's what the people in this particular industry have tapped into. And it's not just females. You got Angel Ramirez Jordan and Derrick Jaxn making buku bank from the basic telling black women what they want to hear. And if you don't include going negative against black men, it's not going to sell, because it's not the positive message that sells. I've known a few dating coaches back in the day. The ones that didn't make any money are the ones that stayed positive. When you went negative against black men, you made a lot more money. That's what Alan Roger Curry is saying. The negativity against black men, beating up on black men, makes a hell of a lot more money than being positive. Unless you can deliver the goods. If you can deliver the goods, there's a lot of money in that, because there's a lot of money in matchmaking, but you have to be really good and you have to really understand people. But for those women that can't, or those people that can't, they make money by making black women feel better about themselves by downing black men. Why is that? Why do you think that is? What have they tapped into? What is the main thing that I've said that black women suffer from? They suffer from three things: shame, guilt, and the need to be right. Now, the long-term work that would take a long time, say like a Iyanla Vanzant, which is long-term work, which is basically what she called healing women of that shame and that guilt, and also the need to be right. But that's long-term, and and it takes a long time to build up a clientele that are willing to hear it. Even though if you stay with it long enough and you're good enough at it, it will make you more money. But the quick money is in the, what I call the NAS, the niggas ain't shit genre. That's the quick money. You don't have to really understand women. All you got to do is go on Facebook, go to social media and see what the memes are and just repeat them. If you ever notice, if you listen to Breukelen Bleu, Christelyn Karazin, Deborrah Cooper, and a host of others, or Derrick Jaxn, all they're doing is repeating memes. There's no deep psychological work going on. There's no healing going on. There's no fixing going on. There's none of that. That's why I call them false prophets. They're no better than the pastor in the black church that hoops and hollers on a Sunday morning and passes the plate and builds $20 million churches and has private airplanes and drives Mercedes and Cadillacs. They're not healing anything. They're just making women feel better. They're absolving women of their shame and their guilt with the blood of Jesus, by sprinkling the blood of Jesus on their souls. They're absolving them of the shame and guilt. The false prophets of the mating game, Breukelen Bleu, Christelyn Karazin, Derrick Jaxn, Deborrah Cooper, they're absolving women of their shame and guilt by sprinkling the blood of black men on women's souls. So they're sacrificing black men in the name of saving the souls of black women from their own sins, just as the preacher does. The other false prophet sprinkles the blood of Jesus, their white Jesus, on their souls to absolve them of their shame and their guilt. Because if you try to teach them something, you try to challenge them, you try to make them better, try to make them better people, they're going to walk away. They're going to get mad at you because you're going to force them to look at themselves. And what they see is not always the prettiest sight. So that's why you see tons of black women in line to drop their dollars at both churches. The Church of Jesus and the Church of the Niggas Ain't Shit. The Nas Church. Breukelen Bleu makes a ton of money. Christelyn Karazin, she's trying to make a ton of money. I can't say she does. But Angel Ramirez Jordan, Derrick Jaxn, they've all tapped into it. And now even the white dating coaches are starting to tap into it as far as white man is concerned. The only difference is that white women want results. White women, if you can't get them a husband, they're going to leave you alone. Black women, as long as you make them feel good. Make them feel that because they had babies, 3 or 4 babies out of wedlocks by 3 different men, that it wasn't their fault. Or that they drove their poor husbands or their poor boyfriends into the poorhouse behind alimony and child support and put them in jail, that it's not their fault. That they ill raise their children, especially their boys, and they raise beta male boys or boys that ill prepared for manhood, that it's not their fault, it's their daddy's fault. Because I tricked him, or I put him out of the house, or I was whatever to him, and I did a disservice to not only me, but my children and the man. But it's not their fault. So I'm not surprised that these women belong probably to both churches, so they can sacrifice somebody, sprinkle that blood on their souls to absolve them of their shame and their guilt. And at the end of the day, when they both walk out the doors, they both feel that they're right. This is just a mild rant. It's just a thought for the day. I'll see you guys on the next one. This is BGS out.